What's going on, family? How do I sound? I got my AirPods on. I got my AirPods on. Is it a good? Are you hearing me well? Is it an echo? Let me know what you're hearing. Let me know if it's a good sound. I know y'all hear what's in the background. Ignore what y'all hear in the background. I'm trying to put my food up, and I decide, you know how you get something to eat, and you put your food up, and you're like, let me get one more taste before I put it in the refrigerator. So, is it a good sound, y'all? Come on, family. Come on in the room. Hold on. Let me put my food up. Hold on. Hold on, y'all. That sounds good. Beef taco salad? I love taco salad. Taco salad is good. He said his dinner was, oh, no, she said, the picture threw me off. I'm sorry. Lolita? I hope I'm saying that. What is this? So Lolita, I hope I'm saying that right, Saints. But I love beef taco salad because I love the lettuce, the crispy lettuce. I love the tomatoes. I love the sour cream with a little bit of salsa and you know what? I can season my turkey, my ground turkey, and you wouldn't know the difference if it was ground turkey. Well, you know the difference, but it would have so much flavor. I've used chicken. I've used steak. Saute some steak and throw it in there. Oh my gosh! Back when I used to eat pork, I used to shred up pork and put it like oh man! But what used to be good was just the ground beef. Ground beef is fire. Ground beef and taco salad is fire. With a little nacho cheese to the side. So what y'all eat for dinner today? You had baked chicken, rice, and cabbage. That's delish. That is definitely delish. I had salmon fillet. Y'all know I'm country. Salmon fillet. Hold on hold on one second.
Letitia sound better, ma'am, than Lolita.
Y'all hear? That's y'all hear Angela? Angela trying to correct me. I meant to put it on mute, Angie. I'm so sorry, but y'all heard Angie's voice. That's Angie's voice. Angie love y'all. I thought I was on mute, sis. I'm so sorry. Letitia. I'm horrible with names. Y'all pray for me. Hooked on phonics is something that I ignored. I have all these educational backgrounds and horrible with pronounced names. I'm so sorry. So, but let me see what everybody had for dinner. Let me see. Um, Angie is laughing at me. Y'all heard Angie Love Y'all's voice. That's Angie Love Y'all. Y'all heard in the background. She sent me an audio of how to pronounce Letitia's name. I hope we saying your name right. Let's see. So, what y'all had? I had a lazy day. I had fried chicken, egg rolls, and French fries. If Sheila is in the chat right now, she is cringing because she says, I am a bad influence. I'm just joking. No, she did. Let's see. I had Venice chili. That was really good once. Let's see. Butter chicken with smoked sausage over rice. That sounds a little good. That sounds a little good. Deer meat. Got on the deer meat. My family. I like deer to a point. I just don't like the taste. Okay, let me make sure I don't skip anybody. Let me go back up. Okay, so we're looking at dinner right now. So somebody said they had beef and lettuce. Beef, lettuce, rice. Matthew, that sounds quite interesting. Salmon, broccoli, and herb roasted potatoes and onion. That sounds delicious. Lazy day for you. Let's see. Make sure I don't miss everybody. Got deer meat, steak, onions, green beans, and potatoes. That sounds delish as well. Y'all making me hungry. Oh, here come the healthy eater right here. Kale, banana, raspberries, blueberries, and pineapple salad. Plant-based eater. Yeah, that sounds good. That's a dessert though for me. But hey, that sounds good. Roast chicken, corn on the cob, mashed potatoes. That sounds good as well. Lasagna. Oh, I love. Oh, did you just say half a slice of coconut cake? I am so mad at you. Coconut cake is my favorite cake. Oh, I can hurt myself. And then we used to have old school church people in our church. They would put pineapples in their coconut cake. Oh my gosh, I miss those days. Oh, I would eat coconut cake until I was sick. Let's see. Barbecue chicken pizza made by my job and salad that I made. That sounds good. I love a good old pizza, honey. Oh, let's see. Country fried chicken and jasmine rice. That sounds delicious. Okay, I'm not gonna go through everybody's dinner because you're making me hungry right now. So my husband grilled turkey hot links, and vegetarian sweet beans. That sounds good as well. Let me see. I'm a recovering vegetarian. As of last week, started some having health issues, and the Holy Spirit It said it's time to start eating meat again after 10 years. I had roast potatoes. Make sure you roast potatoes. I had roast and potatoes. Sis, make sure you slow walk that. Don't, if you've been a vegetarian for 10 years, don't move too fast with eating meat. You don't want to make yourself sick. I would advise if you don't follow Sheila and Angie. Can you do me a favor? Drop Sheila's link in the chat for the wellness women. Follow her. She's very good with healthy eating and vitamins and supplements we need. Y'all make sure y'all follow Sheila. Sheila does an amazing job at what she does. But sis, just be careful with doing that. If you are a recovering vegetarian, you don't want to upset your stomach and make yourself sick. But what you had sounds good. I love roasting potatoes. Oh, sis, what was it like eating meat after 10 years? I know it had been a minute. Orange chicken. All this stuff sounds good. I can't sit here and read everybody's food. People gonna get mad at me. Mustard green cornbread and 300. How dare you say you had some mustard greens and then send me no greens? How dare you? How dare you? You didn't mail me no greens to Brooklyn. I love, anybody knows me, I can eat. So you know we don't eat pork anymore. The hardest part of eating pork, not eating pork, and trying. I ain't gonna say I haven't slipped up. I'm not gonna sit here and play as if y'all that I have just been doing it good. I've had moments where I just be like, Lord, I'm so sorry. Help me with this. But ultimately, overall, I try to stay away. I stay away from pork. Pork is not good. So the hardest part was my greens. Some about a good ham hock in a green, y'all. Don't sit here. Oh yeah, cheesecake. I'm gonna stop listening to y'all. It's something about a good ham hock in a green. Y'all can't tell me. Y'all can't tell me before we got where we are now that a good ham hock in a green don't set it off. So I discovered turkey tails. Turkey tails has the gelatinous texture I need in my greens. Turkey tails, fire. So I can eat some greens with cornbread with turkey tails. Hey, there goes Sheila. So, hey, Sheila, drop your link in here if you want to for Wellness Women. I was telling this young lady, I don't have my glasses on, y'all. I gotta find your message. Okay. Yashka, I hope I'm saying it right, is a recovering vegetarian as of last weekend and starting to eat. She started having health issues, and the Holy Spirit said, start eating meat again after 10 years. So she started eating roast. So I would say, reach out to Sister Sheila. You ain't got to. I don't want to put wellness warriors. I don't want to put, any pressure on you, but Sheila's really good at what she does. But I love turkey tails in my greens. Oh, turkey tails and greens just set it off. And see how chow chow. Y'all see that? I love chow chow. So what's so funny is, y'all, I'm on a prayer call. And you bought some turkey tails on sale. Oh, I love turkey tails in my greens. So yeah, check her out. And I'm gonna finish my story, y'all. Please reach out to Sheila with Wellness Warriors. Sheila, if you got your link to your website, please put it in the chat so she can kind of help you and coach you through how your eating habits, and she can possibly even coach you through coming out of being a vegetarian for 10 years and going into meat. Because my biggest concern is that you're coming out of being a vegetarian for 10 years and you start eating meat and it doesn't sit well with your stomach. Your digestive tract may not take it well, because I have learned, like, if you've eaten a certain diet, your body adjusts to it, and any shock to the system can be bad for your health. That's what I've learned. And I know y'all told you to eat meat. I agree. He told you to do that, but he may have let you to say this in the chat so you can get some guidance in transitioning into meat. So sis, I want you to be healthy in everything you do. So If you need direction, Sheila is the best person. Sheila's trying to help me give up the habit of eating. I'm just joking. I love a good dinner. I love to go eat. And Sheila just be like, sis, you're gonna have to stop. Which I am now, so I'm dealing with it. But make sure the first week was hard, but I think I'm over the hump now. Okay, cool. But still, it's good to kind of reach out to Sheila because Sheila can give you some good guidance. And I'm not trying to pressure you, but she gives you great guidance when it comes to vitamin supplements. And anybody can vouch for Sheila. It's a lot of us that work with her and a lot of things that she does as far as our health and our well being. Because we the Saints love a good chicken wing. I know I'm one of them, and Angie she loves chicken as well. She loves hot wings. Y'all just know that about Angie Love, y'all. So with that being said, but I love greens. Let me go back to my original subject. I love greens with turkey tails. If you've never had turkey tails, y'all, get you some greens. I put a little bit of chicken broth into my greens. Put my little season. I love crushed red peppers. I chop up a good jalapeno pepper, put some bell pepper, put some onion in there, and let it all cook with the turkey tail. And I said onion, bell pepper, a little hint of garlic, and add my little seasonings that I like in it, and let that cook until the meat fall off the bones, like we do with the ham hock, and then throw in my greens. Andrew out here sending me text messages, y'all. She ain't gonna say it in the chat. She said I stopped putting her business in the street. Whatever. You gonna talk in this chat, Angie. I'm not bothered about you. But when I cook it like that with that chicken broth in it and then throw my greens in there, yeah, they'll look good. I don't even use water anymore. I'm sorry. And I use the low sodium chicken broth. I don't use the high sodium. I use low sodium. Sheila, don't judge me. I don't use the high sodium. I use low sodium. And let it cook. When I tell y'all, delicious. Sometimes I use that what's the I can't remember the name of it, but it's like this chicken broth, but it's like a concentrated version of it in a jar. And I forgot what it's like a bouillon, but it's not bouillon in the sense of the word normal bouillons. It's just like I gotta remember the name and I tell y'all about it. I like to cook. But off of food, y'all, cause Sheila's gonna talk about me because she likes us to eat. Why are you talking about food? Yeah, pray for me. But welcome, Teo Ministries. What's going on? It's either Teo or Yakoba. Which one is it? Because that's just a channel, y'all's channel. But who's actually the one that is talking right now? Is it Yakoba or is it Teo? But either or, yes, better than bra. I love that. Welcome. So y'all, let's get to business. Y'all know I call him Teo. In fact, he changed his name because I call him Teo. It's Teo. Teotw. Teo. Y'all, when I first met Teo, I kept calling him Teo. Teo. And Teo was like, I'm gonna just change my name. And y'all give me props. His name on his avatar is Teo, and it's because of me, because I call him Teo. That is too funny. So let me see. Jacoba, go get Teo and tell him to come on and in the chat. Okay. All right. So let's get it started. Y'all, I have been watching the news all day at work. I couldn't get my work done today because I was watching the news. And I've been kind of tagging certain things. And I was getting ready to say in my community chat, it's going down tonight because I know I need to talk about something. Well, somebody said, y'all get me. I told y'all these late night lives don't look. You better be strong. Sheila gonna talk about me. Sister E don't get up here talk about no food. Oh, food. That is too funny. But today, again on YouTube, and was like, you know what? I'm gonna go ahead and schedule my live. But as I was getting ready to schedule my live, I was looking at YouTube. came across something. So right now, U.S. allies have recognized Palestine as a state, and Israel or Bibi himself is pissed off. I hope pissed off is not a cuss word, but I've already said it. So let me play that video really quick. Let me roll this beautiful beam footage once. Oh, here it is. Here it is. So y'all know I love the Young Turks. So sorry, y'all. I'm gonna play them, but I'm gonna play which one I'm gonna play first? I'm gonna play the Young Turks first. So the Young Turks talk about how Israel is pissed off right now because of the fact that because they recognize Palestine as a state. So let me play it real quick. Play. My headphones is throwing me off. Hold on, y'all. My headphones are throwing me off. So I'm trying to talk to y'all, but I'm hearing this back noise. So give me a second. Let me share. I paused it. So Bibi is pissed off. Bibi is ultimately pissed off that the U.S. has. So right here it says Israel fumes after U.S. allies, not U.S. but U.S. allies. Let me stand corrected. Announce recognition of Palestinian states. Y'all, a Palestinian state. I'm sorry. Yeah, y'all got to see this video. So I'm gonna play it now. Hold on, and y'all tell me what y'all thoughts are. It's 12 minutes long, but we finna get it cracking. Get your popcorn and your water or your healthy drink or your fruit, your strawberries, your blueberries, your bananas. We're not doing wings this go around, y'all. When I have these late night lives, y'all won't be saying it was me that was making y'all gain weight. But what we're gonna do is go get your blueberries, your bananas, your bottled water, your rice cakes, things like that. Don't go get no hot wings, no potato chips, no French fries, no sliders, no unhealthy snacks. So that I won't be on Sheila's hit list. So I'm promoting, your tea. I'm promoting healthy snacks in this conversation. Your no salt, no butter popcorn. Sheila, you see I'm trying to do right? See, I'm trying to do right. Everything healthy. And we're going to have our late night conversation. Here we go. Let's get it started.
There can be no peace in the Middle East without recognition. That's the collective message from 3 European nations.
Today, Ireland, Norway, and Spain are announcing that we recognise the state of Palestine. Each of us will now undertake whatever national steps are necessary to give effect to that decision.
Well, at the moment, this is more a symbolic move than anything else. Israel is absolutely fuming over who you just heard. That's Ireland's Prime Minister, Simon Harris, declaring that Ireland officially recognizes a Palestinian state. Now, his country, along with Norway and Spain, have decided to officially recognize the state of Palestine. They plan to do so on May 28th. So this is about an announcement about something that they're going to do on a later date next week on May 28th. Here's more on their decision and the reasoning behind it.
The trio made coordinated announcements on Wednesday, making plain their intentions to officially view Palestine as a sovereign state.
The time has come to move from words to action, to tell the millions of innocent suffering Palestinians that we are with them, that there is hope.
Norway's Prime Minister says it's the only way to keep the two-state solution alive.
The Palestinians have a fundamental, independent right to their own state. Both Israelis and Palestinians have the right to live in peace in their respective states. There cannot be a two-state solution without a Palestinian state. And in other words, peace in the Middle East requires a Palestinian state.
Currently, large portions of Africa, Asia, the Middle East and South America already recognise the state of Palestine, but most major Western economies do not.
And one of those Western economies that does not recognize the Palestinian state is, yes, of course, and unfortunately, the United States. The Biden administration released a statement today making clear that they are vehemently against the decision by our European allies. The United States government reiterated its position that recognizing a Palestinian state was premature and must be the result of direct negotiations between Israel and the Palestinians. But as we all know, as long as you haven't bought into the gaslighting, Israel is very much against Palestinians having their own state. In fact, Benjamin Netanyahu, the current prime minister of Israel, has been on the record about this. In fact, he propped up Hamas in Gaza specifically to discredit the notion that Palestinians should be given a state. He funded them, he propped them up, and then now is using Hamas as justification for the slaughter of tens of thousands of innocent civilians who are trapped in the Gaza Strip.
Pausing here to deliver some honest truth as we do in our news coverage as well. TYT is facing challenges, guys, as they entire all the difference and keep us in business. We appreciate you. Thank you.
National Security Council spokeswoman Adrienne Watson said the following, quote, "The president, meaning Joe Biden, is a strong supporter of a two-state solution." This is my addition, in words only, not through his actions, and has throughout his career. He believes a Palestinian state should be realized through direct negotiations between the parties, not through unilateral recognition. Well, look, as anyone with a brain understands, third parties like Ireland, Norway, and Spain cannot wave a magic wand and get Israel to recognize the Palestinian state. So yes, to some extent, this is symbolic, but it does send a strong message considering the fact that, many Western countries that are allied with the United States wouldn't dare, cross the line that you saw Ireland, Norway, and Spain cross today. So while it is symbolic for sure, it also speaks volumes that they were willing to kind of undercut the United States in announcing that their countries recognize the Palestinian state. Now, the United States, again, really isn't in favor of a two-state solution. And I say that because all we ever get from the US, all we ever hear from our government is cheap talk, a lot of rhetoric. And they keep saying that the negotiations need to occur between Israel and the Palestinians, while the US government knows full well that the Israeli government has no interest in allowing for the formation or establishment of a Palestinian state. Now, as for the broader international community, we should note that more than 140 other countries around the world recognize a Palestinian state, but most are outside Europe. Before Wednesday's announcement, only a few countries in Central and Eastern Europe, as well as Sweden, had formally recognized it. And I want to be very specific here because with the addition of Ireland, Norway, and Spain, you now have 146 out of the 193 UN countries recognizing Palestine and the Palestinian state. And currently 7 members of the 27-nation European Union officially recognize a Palestinian state. 5 of them are former East Bloc countries who announced recognition in 1988. As did Cyprus before joining the bloc. Sweden actually announced their recognition fairly recently, about 10 years ago in 2014. Now, a broader group of European nations has pressed for a two-state solution, one that includes the creation of a demilitarized Palestinian state drawn on the borders as they were in 1967. The idea of a demilitarized state is a fascinating one because can you really be considered a state if you don't have the capacity to defend yourself, if you don't have the capacity to protect your national security? I mean, would we as Americans feel like we have a secure state, a sovereign state, if we didn't have a military to defend it from outside actors? So, the use of the word demilitarized, I understand it. It's because we're thinking of the current leadership of Palestinians in Gaza. And of course, that's Hamas. And a militarized Hamas is definitely not an ingredient for peace. But at the same time, I think in order to actually have a Palestinian state in the long term, you would need to have the capacity to form a military specifically for national security purposes. Now, with that said, let's go to Israel's response, because as I mentioned earlier, they're pretty furious about this and they are used to the United States doing their bidding. For instance, the US has used its veto power in the Security Council in the UN to block the Palestinian bid to become a full member of the United Nations. So usually the US will come in and they'll find a way to stop what happened today from happening, stop Ireland, Norway, and Spain from declaring that they recognize the Palestinian state. They were
Now, y'all understand what could potentially happen if Palestine was actually pulled in as a part of the UN, and if they would have voted. You realize that if they would have done that, Israel would really be in trouble right now for what they're doing. What keeps Israel somewhat safe is the fact that Palestine is not a part of the European nations. They're not a part of that whole board, or they're not a part of that whole group itself. So I hate to say it, when you're outside of that, the UN has a tendency to kind of not turn their head away, but it's like they don't, the accountability is not as harsh. Tell me if I'm wrong, y'all. But the moment that Palestine becomes a part of the UN, it's a game changer. Israel can't do some of the stuff that they're doing.
We're unable to do that this time around. And so we're about to hear about how Israel had a bit of a temper tantrum today and decided to take their ball and go home from the countries that made their announcement today. Let's watch.
The Palestinian presidency has welcomed the decision, but Israel has responded furiously to the news. The country's finance minister says he'll withhold tax funds intended for the Palestinian Authority, and the government has already recalled its ambassadors to Norway, Ireland, and Spain.
As you can imagine, Israel has reacted pretty furiously to the move by these countries and their decision to formally recognize a Palestinian state. So angry that it's ordered back its ambassadors to Norway and Ireland and has called the plan, and I'm quoting here, a distorted step.
Oh, there's so much to talk about here. Let me just start off with the notion of essentially stealing the taxes that Palestinian civilians in the West Bank pay to the Palestinian Authority, which of course governs them in the West Bank. So it's interesting because on one hand, you have the far right government of Israel saying, how dare you claim that we live in an apartheid state? What is an apartheid state? It's when you have a group of people who are treated as second-class citizens who don't have the same rights and live under the thumb of the powerful group within that country. In this case, it would be Israel. But if the West Bank and Gaza isn't going to be considered part of a Palestinian state and is considered part of greater Israel, and they're treated as second-class citizens, that is what you call an apartheid state. So you can't have your cake and eat it too. They've got to make a decision. If they refuse to allow for the formation of a Palestinian state and instead have these territories be part of greater Israel and treat Palestinians as second-class citizens who do not have the same rights, who do not have the ability to vote in their elections, yeah, that's an apartheid state. And so if you want an apartheid state, then own it and accept the fact that this is who you are and this is what you want. And that's, of course, what I'm saying to the Israeli government. And it's outrageous to just steal the resources and the taxes that Palestinian people in the West Bank are paying to the Palestinian Authority over what foreign countries have declared about the Palestinian state. Understand what they're doing here. The Israeli government plans to punish Palestinians in the West Bank over this announcement by Ireland, Spain, and Norway. The other thing is, well, they did decide to take their ball and go home. As the Washington Post reported, Israeli Foreign Minister Israel Katz ordered the immediate recall of the Israeli ambassadors to Spain, Ireland, and Norway, Quote, I am sending a clear message today. Israel will not be complacent against those who undermine its sovereignty and endanger its security. In other words, Israel is pretty much dead set on isolating itself from the international community. Going back to a point that I made on the show this week, I don't really think Israel is all that concerned about what the international community thinks about them as long as they have the backing of the United States.
So let me pause right here. Keep in mind, Israel is literally saying, y'all don't have a right to say anything about what we're doing. If you say anything, I'm recalling my people. We're not dealing with you. We're cutting. Israel is literally isolating themselves. But in the process of this isolation, the U.S. is isolating themselves as well. This is why, and I forgot who said this, but they warned, do not get, and this is like right when the introduction of 1948, I forgot it was either president or it was it the Ford guy. I think it was him. I can't remember now. I'll look it up. Hold on. Okay, back. I'm sorry. That's why he forewarned that we don't get too involved with them because it leads to this. And guess what happened? It's led to this, where obviously other nations are saying, no, this ain't cool. Palestine needs to be recognized. They pushing back. And Israel, hold on one second. Rio is being extra. Okay, yeah. So Israel right now is saying, no, you're not going, they being extra. Yeah, it was Henry Ford. I think it was Henry Ford or what? No, it was a president that said, don't get too involved in this. It wasn't Henry Ford. It was an actual president. I can't remember. I got to go back and pull it. But ultimately, Israel's being extra saying, you know what? If you support them, guess what? We're not supporting you. And they're taking their toys and say, I'm going to play with my toys somewhere else. The U.S., instead of saying, yo, you're doing wrong, you need to fix this, U.S. is like, I'm going to support you at any cost. So with that mindset, the U.S. is now beginning to look just like Israel. People are beginning to question everything that they know and they believe in, especially the Democratic Party. The Democratic Party is in a bad place. I was looking into something called Project 2025. We'll talk about that on a later date. We'll talk about that another time. That's a whole nother subject within itself. But with that being said, it's interesting. So let me keep playing her. 1 second.
Where they get 90% of their military weaponry. And to be sure, the Biden administration is fully on board with Israel, their military, as long as they have the back. Words, Israel is pretty much dead set on isolating itself from the international community. Going back to a point that I made on the show this week, I don't really think Israel is all that concerned about what the international community thinks about them as long as they have the backing of the United States, where they get 90% of their military weaponry. And to be sure, the Biden administration is fully on board with Israel, regardless of how much concern we hear about Biden feeling toward Palestinians who are losing their lives in Gaza. Itamar Ben-Gvir also pushed back against the 3 nations that have declared a Palestinian state today, saying, quote, we will not allow any surrender that would even include a declaration of a Palestinian state. And here's my personal favorite. Israel's finance minister, Bezalel Smotrich, said Israel should approve 3 new settlements in the occupied West Bank, one for each country that recognized a Palestinian state, and cut funding for the Palestinian Authority. As if building illegal settlements was ever slowed down by this right-wing, land-grabbing, civilian slaughtering government. They're gonna do it anyway. The settlers have been acting viciously and violently toward innocent Palestinians in the West Bank with impunity. So seems like a bit of an empty threat, because this is exactly.
This is where I have a problem with her statement. How can I say this and be politically correct? Occupation of a nation without, it sounds no different than the U.S. coming into this land, which we consider to be North America or the U.S., and telling the Native Americans, you know what, I'm finna take y'all land and I'm gonna slaughter every single one of y'all. I had to snap on that one. No different than that. The U.S. coming in, a colonizer coming into the U.S. to say every Native American tribe, we're gonna slaughter y'all and take y'all land. It's no different than that. In fact, that's the same script. U.S. did the same thing, and Israel says we're gonna follow suit. We're gonna follow y'all script, because guess what? If y'all can do it, we can do it. Big difference is times have changed. People have now gotten a concept of freedom and liberty, and people can voice their opinions, and social media is out there. So Israel is not getting, they're not able to do what the U.S. did. The U.S. did it. We didn't have social media. We didn't have news. People didn't really know unless you were in that region. But they slaughtered all of the Native Americans and said, we're going to occupy your land. U.S. did it. That's why U.S. is like, I can't say a word to Israel, because if I say something about Israel doing this, then, and if they get in trouble in the court system or the international court system, ICC, then possibly they can bring about charges on us. Not only will the U.S. get charges for occupying this land, they will get charged for trafficking and bringing African people or my people over here to cultivate the land. Man, this is why the U.S. is a little scared of this. The more I think about it, they're a little scared of this. They're a little scared of this. They're a little scared. They are tangibly scared. They did the same thing. But the U.S. got away with it. They slaughtered many Native American settlers over here, what we consider to be. So I don't see, and Israel, I know y'all, my people, my folks. Don't take this personal, but we finna deal with the realm of honesty right now. Native Americans got just as much a right to take the U.S. to the international court systems as the Palestinians can do the same for Israel. So U.S. against Native Americans against U.S. and Israel, the Palestinians against Israel. The Native Americans can do the same thing. And the Spanish Americans, because realize that what we consider to be Mexico now used to be much bigger. Those individuals owned California. What is the Alamo? Come on now, y'all. Come on. They took the land from these people that had already been settled here within the U.S., had learned how to cultivate the land, knew how to eat from the land, knew the timing, how to grow crops. And the colonizer came over here and said, we can be friends, teach us how to cultivate the land. And the Native Americans said, okay, yes, come on over here. We'll help you. Native Americans was here for it. And the colonizers would start doing the shady stuff. And Native Americans was like, no go, my dude. We're not finna help you. Y'all figured that out. And what we're going to do is we're going to stop interacting with you. You're going to starve, because that's why you had the situation in Virginia where you had a lot of the settlers that were starving because they did not know how to manage the land. And I learned this history from when I was living in that area over in the DC, the Maryland, and the Virginia area, that the settlers didn't know how to cultivate the land. And what happened was they ultimately brought slaves over here, started massacring the Native Americans, and started slowly but surely snatching their land from them, because they felt like It was their God-given right. And this is so when I hear some of people say, oh, what they're doing to the Palestinians are wrong. Wait. We're settling in a land now, been here for 400 years. 400 years of a land that didn't belong to them. U.S. did the exact same thing with the Native Americans. This is why the U.S. is like, I can't take the side of the Palestinians, because if the Native Americans rise up and start going to the ICC, we got a problem. Then, not to mention, this land has done so much. If the descendants of the slaves, ADOS, foundational black people, stood up and said, wait, Native Americans, while y'all fighting for yours, I got to raise my hand, because when they massacred you all and pushed y'all out the land and settled here, they took my people, shipped them here, and said, now cultivate the land. Y'all see why the U.S. is like, we can't get in this. So much blood is on their hands. So while their people are turning against them and saying, no, we're fighting for the Palestinians, the U.S. is like, shh, be quiet, shut up. You finna get us in trouble. Hey, be quiet. We did the same thing. They're not hearing you. So, yeah. That's why I hope I gave y'all a good story. I tried to kind of add a little, razzle dazzle to the story, but y'all know the story. That's why we celebrate something called Thanksgiving. Thanksgiving is a celebration of a full massacre and land grab. We celebrate land grabs. We're celebrating apartheid. Every single time we eat that turkey and them dressing and them greens and them sweet potatoes and them mashed potatoes. And I hate turkey, y'all. Let me just say this. I like turkey wings, but I don't like turkey. Macaroni and cheese, sweet potato pie, banana pudding. And we do this on Thanksgiving. We are celebrating apartheid. We're celebrating massacring, taking the land, killing the Native Americans, and taking something that didn't belong to them, the same thing that happened to the Palestinians. So let's say Israel does that. See, the thing is, what's so funny is, y'all, excuse me, my allergies are giving me problems. Israel is following the script of the U.S. The U.S. says, just live over there for a little bit. About, hang there, slowly but surely try to grab the land and make it quiet. We're going to be quiet. Shh. We're not going to say nothing. Just continue on with taking over the West Bank, taking over this, occupying that land, and then once you're tired, wipe it out. But by that time, we're going to build a narrative to kind of say, support Israel, love Israel. Israel is God's chosen people. Oh, and what happens is the evangelicals have taken on this same campaign to say, oh, love Israel. And while Israel is doing that, they're kicking the Palestinians out. They're going over. And what's going on right now, and again, I have no dog in the fight. One thing about black people, look, I don't have a conversation. I can't fight the battle because I got a beef with the U.S. Like, yeah, you owe us some reparations. That's my beef right now. 100%, that's my beef. I need that. I need that little reparations for real. But, hey, it is what it is. But yet and still, they are following from the same script. Let's say that they fulfill the script. They kick the Palestinians out. Guess what happens? It's a holiday to celebrate the Thanksgiving. It's the same as, y'all get what I'm saying? Am I making sense, my people? Am I making sense? I don't see it as any difference. And I hope people understand why I don't see that as I don't see it as different. It's not any difference in what the U.S. did to the Native Americans and the Spanish that was over here, or the Mexicans that's over here, or the indigenous people that were over here. They're no different than what Israel is doing to the Palestinians. So when I hear her say that, I'm like, you really can't say that. And I'm talking about the lady with Young Turks. You really can't say that if you're not willing to hold this land accountable. You can't really say that. But I'm loving the news. I'm going to keep it going. But it's just so interesting that a lot of people now are saying the audacity of what Israel is doing to the Palestinians. Let's talk about the Native Americans in this land. We don't want to talk about that. We don't want to talk about taking Thanksgiving off the books. We don't want to talk about that. Thanksgiving is a celebration of massacring the Native Americans. Y'all don't want to talk about that. No, y'all won't. So I don't see Thanksgiving any different than what's going on in Gaza if they created a holiday for that. Y'all won't talk about that. So I'll continue on. I'm done ranting.
What Israel's been doing anyway. So civilian slaughtering government. They're going to do it anyway. Thank one for each country that recognized the Palestinian state and cut funding for the Palestinian Authority. As if building illegal settlements was ever slowed down by this right-wing, land-grabbing, civilian slaughtering government. They're going to do it anyway. The settlers have been acting viciously and violently toward innocent Palestinians in the West Bank with impunity. So seems like a bit of an empty threat because this is exactly what Israel's been doing anyway. So solidarity with the governments of Spain, Norway, and Ireland. Doing this, of course, is leading to some backlash from the United States and Israel, but they were willing to do the right thing anyway, and I commend them for that.
Thanks for watching The Young Turks. Really appreciate it. Another way to show support is through YouTube memberships. You'll get to interact with us more. There's live chat, emojis, badges.
It's now 5 countries that have joined. Yeah, I'm telling y'all, this is finna turn. The U.S. is taking Israel's side, and it's getting ready to turn and ugly. It's about to get ugly. It's about to get real ugly. It's about to get real ugly. Interesting enough, that means that the news is going to get more and more interesting. You'll see a lot of infighting. It is what it is. I'm sorry. I hope people don't take it personal. So let me move on to the next video. Are y'all enjoying this? I told y'all I'm starting to get back into my little groove of, I'm getting back into my little groove. So okay, so I'm telling y'all, news is getting ready to be to the point that while I'm doing lives, I didn't even see this report. I promise y'all, I didn't see this report. It just popped up. It's getting ready to be so interesting that while we're doing lives, like myself, like Ashonda, like Teo, Dante does more of the history. That's his realm. But if he ever does news, Dante, we're here for it. It's going to be so much information. Benaya, and Pas Kelly, all of us, while we're doing these things, news reports are going to start popping up. Just watch. We're going to start doing stuff, and stuff just going to pop up as we're doing our lives. And we're going to be like, wait a minute, what's going on? This is going to be more interesting and more crazier. It's going to be crazier. Yes, I said more crazier because I'm country. But this is going to be crazier than COVID. I'm going to say that much. It's going to be crazier than the super flu. So let me share this video that just popped up on my YouTube page. So let me show you something. This just popped up, y'all. I kid y'all not.
Europe, we begin our report in Europe, where 3 nations have made a gesture to the Palestinians. The leaders of Spain, Ireland, and Norway said they will recognize a Palestinian state, which they had not done before. The Wednesday announcements come 7.5 months after the start of the war in Gaza, and despite Israel's repeated objections. They join more than a dozen European nations that have already done so. Many countries, including the United States, advocate for a 2-state solution, but the Biden administration argues the move must be negotiated. CBS News foreign correspondent Imtiaz Tayeb has more. Imtiaz?
Well, this is an extraordinary move by the leaders of these three countries to formally recognize a Palestinian state. In a statement, they all collectively said that this was a time for peace and made it clear that they believe that peace and safety could only be achieved through the recognition of a Palestinian state and indeed the safety of future generations of Israelis and Palestinians. But, of course, as we've been hearing, Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu reacted with fury, saying that this was not the time to recognize a Palestinian state, saying that it was, quote, a reward for Hamas. In fact, we've heard from Israel's finance minister saying that he will also suspend tax transfer payments to the Palestinian Authority in the West Bank. The Palestinian Authority in the West Bank is already strapped for money, and this is certainly going to be a very punitive measure for them. But we have to be clear, between a potential arrest warrant for alleged war crimes that the ICC is pursuing for Prime Minister Netanyahu, the unilateral recognition of a Palestinian state by these European powers, and we've been hearing anguished pleas from hostage families to bring their loved ones home. The Israeli leadership, Prime Minister Netanyahu specifically, is under extraordinary pressure from all sides as he desperately tries to cling on to power. John.
Imtiaz Tayeb, thank you. And now we go to CBS News Chief Foreign Affairs Correspondent and Face the Nation moderator, Margaret Brennan, who joins me. Margaret, help me understand what Norway, Ireland, and Spain are up to here, the role this plays in this question of a Palestinian state, and is this purely symbolic?
Well, John, it's symbolic in that it doesn't have a practical implication on the ground for independence, but it is aspirational and shows that Israel's increasingly isolated. It's now like 140 of the 190 countries at the UN have recognized a Palestinian state. The United States says they want one, but as the result of a negotiated settlement with Israel to work out how this would actually, as the result of a negotiated, have recognized a increasingly isolated. It's now like 140 of the 190 countries at the UN have recognized.
Okay, so I have a smidge, a smidge of ADHD. But I had to play that back to make sure my brain and my ADHD was kind of working together. She said out of the 190, 140 want to recognize Palestine as a state. Did I miss that, y'all? My ADHD sometimes can kick in. And make sure y'all share this video. Let's bring some more people in this live. It's going to be interesting. But did I miss that? She said 140. Did I miss it? Tell me if I missed it. And then they hold, Saints, how you going to hold them folks' money? Baby, how you going to hold them folks? Y'all, it's so many things. It's words and phrases and things I want to say that I can't say. But I'm just like, seriously? So 140 said we need to recognize them. But Israel proceeds to say, I'm so pissed off at you, everybody in the West Bank. I'm going to keep y'all a little tax money. Y'all, so much going on. So much going on. Just brace ourselves. But I'm going to continue on.
A Palestinian state. The United States says they want one, but as the result of a negotiated settlement with Israel to work out how this would actually take place. They also currently, the Biden administration, are trying to have a complete revitalization of the Palestinian Authority, which is the governing entity in the West Bank, so that it has younger, more capable, less corrupt officials running it. But this is also something that there are members of the war cabinet who are supportive of within Israel. You had the defense minister of Israel, Gallant, coming out and saying that this needs to be talked about. Who's going to run this place, Gaza, after Israeli troops leave? And that debate over whether Israel would actually try to take over control and hold it is something that far-right nationalist ministers of the Netanyahu government are pressing for. And that's why this is also so delicate.
Adding to this discussion is the question of Saudi Arabia. On Capitol Hill, Secretary of State Antony Blinken spoke about efforts to normalize relations between Israel and Saudi Arabia. Here's some of what he said.
In order for normalization to proceed, Saudi Arabia has made very clear that even with the agreements between us completed, they have to have two things. They have to have calm in Gaza, and they have to have a credible pathway to a Palestinian state. Whether a government in Israel in this moment is able to engage on that basis, I don't know.
So there we hear it again, support for a Palestinian state. How do you read into, there were a lot of ums in Blinken's testimony. How do you read into the ums and the delicate dance the U.S. is trying to do here with the Saudis?
Oh, that was very delicate, John. And I really would have loved a sharp follow-up question to the I don't know, because Antony Blinken was really trying to avoid taking on the complications within the Israeli political system right now when he was answering that. And also avoid saying that Prime Minister Netanyahu has been completely defiant of all requests to date that President Biden has been making of him, including on this, which President Biden has sought as this sort of crown achievement to deliver to Israel a security compact by normalizing relations with Saudi Arabia, the most influential and important Arab Muslim country in the world. That's the carrot that President Biden is dangling out there, saying, hey, if you want to cement your legacy as actually making Israel more secure, then perhaps do this and compromise on the Palestinians.
Didn't I tell y'all every single time I go to YouTube, something new pops up? Y'all, we're going to get back to this Palestinian thing. So, the chopper, I'm going to shift the subject and go back to the other subject. The chopper that had crashed with the president of Iran in it. Y'all remember they said that, let me make sure I'm reading this right. That girl, oh, Saints, why did they say that weather was clear? I'm telling y'all I'm finna put my phone down. Something new always pops up. Why did they just say the weather was clear? So the news reports were going out that the chopper crashed because of bad weather. Oh. This just came out an hour ago. Yeah, I'm sitting here. I'm gonna stop looking. I can't finish one news report without finding something else. Y'all, I'm gonna play this. Y'all mind if we shift after this? So usually I vet stuff before I listen, so understand that I have not vetted this, so it may not be what we need to hear. Let me finish this real quick. Can y'all want to finish this, or y'all want to shift over to the fact that they said that this weather wasn't bad? Which one y'all want to do? One, y'all want to stay here, or do y'all want to shift over to this? The Saint said shift, please. Let's see. Let me go ahead and save this video so I can go ahead. That's what everybody's saying, y'all. Let me stop this video real quick. Yeah, I kid y'all.
Palestinian state element of this, but it is not.
So we talked about this enough. Let me go on here real quick. So let me watch. Yeah, I promise y'all, I'm not gonna be up with y'all all hours of the night. This is not super flu season where a lot of people is unemployed. We are employed, and I have to go to work in the morning. I'm not gonna be up with y'all all night. I'm not going back to look at anything on my YouTube page no more. Let's go ahead and play this. Y'all not finna Saints for not finna keep me up all night. But so what do y'all thought? What are y'all thoughts? It's like they said it out. So the question is this: because people are like, now keep in mind, if we're in a convoy and your leader is flying within the convoy, do you think they will be behind you or in front of you so you can watch them? Tell me what your thoughts are. You would be in eye shot. Didn't he say that the report said they lost sight of them? When do you lose sight of your leader? When do you lose? Did I miss that? Did it say they lost sight of them and they couldn't find them no more? When did this? When? Wait, hold on. You don't. You. This is. Then all of a sudden, yes, you would be in the middle. One would be behind you, and one would be in front of you. So if all hell breaks loose, y'all have protected them because you need to protect them, right? Some ain't quite right, y'all. Some ain't quite right. And then now they're saying possibly the weather was not bad. That was the forefront of the news. Y'all, this is finna go down a deeper rabbit hole. This is going down a deeper rabbit hole. So let me see. Let me go back to my other report. Yeah, I'm gonna get off of YouTube because every time I get on YouTube, I find something new. So back to the normal scheduled programming. I got a feeling we're finna be revisiting this. Correct. How does the metal disappear? Y'all, it feels like they duct taping this story together. they duct taping this story together, y'all. It's just, let me do a little bit more digging. Cause it was 3 planes I last checked. Now it's somebody gonna say, "Oh, that's bad news." Ignore that news. Pay attention to us. Last time we paid attention, y'all, we was in the Gulf War, and we found out there were no weapons of mass destruction. So, yeah. When I tell y'all, that's all I gotta say. Y'all, let's get back to our normal scheduled programming. I don't even know how to turn from this, y'all. It's so much. Usually, when we had the super flu, I had one, area, which now they're taking, YouTube is taking my videos down, which is fine. Moving on to the next thing. I don't get upset about that. But I had one targeted subject. Now I have 20 different subjects, and I got to stay off of YouTube while I'm doing lives. Because I go on YouTube to check and see. Sometimes I check and see what, my numbers, making sure I can, that really I do that to make sure that YouTube hasn't kicked me off. Because sometimes when YouTube kicks me off, I can't see it on StreamYard. So I off and on go back and check on my YouTube page while I'm doing a live to make sure I ain't shut down. So, man. And you saw it says pending further. Thank you. They said pending further vacation and investigation. I said vacation. I need a vacation. But investigation. They said pending further investigation. Saints, This is going to be interesting. That's what I'm going to leave it right there. So, y'all not going to throw me off my beaten path. We finna go back to the original subject until I get some more information. I'm just going to start labeling it as news and just move on because, yeah. Y'all, it's always something going on. Let me go back to my original plan programming. So let me go back, Saints. We're going to finish this where we are. Let me see. It's under history. Hold on. Yeah, I got a feeling it's going to be ugly.
Clear that Prime Minister Netanyahu would make that calculation. And in fact, the Biden administration officials have increasingly been saying that they believe he is making calculations based on his own political survival and not necessarily the security of the state. And you heard a member of his war cabinet suggest as much as well, Benny Gantz gesturing to it.
Let me switch to Ukraine before you have to go, Margaret. Last week, Blinken visited Kyiv to reiterate U.S. support for Ukraine. What for you is what is the key issue right now in that conflict that you're paying attention to?
Well, John, the ambassador from Ukraine was on Face the Nation this weekend and said there's no such thing as fast enough when it comes to delivery of weapons. The reason that this moment is so sensitive is because of that delay and of 6 months or more in delivery. And Russia has really been able to exploit it in a significant way. At a time when Ukraine is even short on troops, they just rolled out a new draft, for example. So they need everything, on the weapons front, including air cover. They're asking for 2 Patriot systems. They're asking for other kind of support as well, including training of their troops, more of it. And where that takes place, who does it, all of that is still being worked out.
And President Zelensky wants, at least based on his remarks to the New York Times, on Tuesday, he wants NATO to shoot down Russian missiles that have entered Ukrainian airspace. He says that's just defending us. That's not an aggressive act. How big of an ask, really, though, is that for Zelensky?
Bigger than anything NATO has been willing to do to date. That New York Times interview, he laid out a number of prescriptive things that NATO has just not been willing to do, the Biden administration has not been willing to do. And he points out that the United States was willing to do that for Israel, for example. Israel's an ally of the United States. Ukraine is not a treaty ally of the United States, nor is it part of NATO. And the United States to date has really been trying to walk that line of not escalating. Using anything under the NATO brand is super sensitive because Vladimir Putin's trumped up version of events is that he's at war with NATO, and the U.S. doesn't want to give cover for any of that. And that applies as well to the training of troops, whether those are conducted by NATO or whether those are conducted by members of NATO is parsed here. Diplomats are okay with members of NATO doing training. They're a little more sensitive when anything under the NATO umbrella gets involved.
Face the Nation's Margaret Brennan. Thank you so much, Margaret.
Thanks, John.
This news is from
All right, y'all. When I tell y'all so much is going on, it's ridiculous. Somebody said that the pilot lived in the Iranian, the crash with the Iranian president on it. I don't think he lived. I don't know. Let me look that up before we talk on that. Or I'm not saying you said that. I think you were asking the question: did the pilot live? Yeah, you was asking, did the pilot live? I don't know. We don't know yet, but I'll look into it. But y'all, it's so much going on. So we're not done yet. Who's up for it? What time is it? Oh, it's just 11:30. Saints, come on, we can give it 20 more minutes. Who's game for 20 more minutes? I will give y'all 20 more minutes if y'all share this link. Share it with your cousin, your friend, anybody, and tell them, come on and join us. Because it's going to get more interesting as we go. Let's go for it. I want to play The Hill, but The Hill is another 15 minutes. The Hill is another 15 minutes. I do want to shift to Bernie Sanders. Yeah, and what he did. So let's go to this one. And we'll talk about The Hill tomorrow because I'm sleepy. Y'all, at this point, I'm just going to title this as the news. I'm not even going to give it a title. They said Benjamin Netanyahu, the rogue prosecutor, has gone amok. I got to say this for later. So, watch later. So, let's go to the next one. And I might play the other one with. So, right here. Let me see. Where is my thing with Bernie Sanders? Hold on. Did I save it? I know I saved it. History. Let me look at my history. Hold on, y'all. Oh, Bernie Sanders praises ICC for issuing an arrest warrant. Let's look at this. Y'all, these folk running amok. They turning on each other. And we're going to see more people turning on each other. Come on, let's look at this.
President.
Senator from Vermont.
Mr. President, there has been a lot of attention and controversy attached to a recent action by the International Criminal Court, the ICC. The core purpose of the ICC is to prosecute the most serious international crimes: genocide, crimes against humanity, war crimes, and the crime of aggression. I believe that it is very important that all of us support accountability for these crimes and the important mission of the ICC. Mr. President, last year, the ICC declared that President Vladimir Putin of Russia was in violation of international law and that he was a war criminal. The ICC issued arrest warrants for Putin and one of his senior officials, saying there are reasonable grounds to believe that they had committed the war crime of unlawful deportation and transfer of population for their systematic kidnapping of thousands and thousands of Ukrainian children. I supported the ICC decision. And in fact, that is the tip of the iceberg of what Putin has done in Ukraine. Putin started the most destructive war in Europe since World War II. He has bombed civilians and devastated civilian infrastructure, killing at least 30,000 civilians and displacing millions more. Hundreds of thousands of Ukrainian and Russian soldiers have been killed or wounded as a result of Putin's horrific invasion of Ukraine. On that occasion, when the ICC declared Putin a war criminal, the United States government welcomed the ICC decision. A White House spokesperson said, and I quote, "There is no doubt that Russia is committing war crimes and atrocities in Ukraine, and we have been clear that those responsible must be held accountable. The ICC prosecutor is an independent actor and makes his own prosecutorial decisions based on the evidence before him. We support accountability for perpetrators of war crimes," end of quote. That is what a U.S. government spokesman said in March 2023, and I agree. In my view, Mr. Putin is, in fact, a war criminal. Mr. President, we live in a world of increasing division, tension, and hostility. Around the globe, countries are dramatically increasing their military budgets. More countries are attempting to gain nuclear weapons and other dangerous weapon systems. It is in times like these that we most need international law. Without it, we will have an even more violent world where might makes right and war criminals can act with impunity.
Live streaming can be tricky, and sometimes trying to find the right software.
In recent years, the ICC has attempted to hold governments and political leaders accountable for crimes against humanity. That is what they do, and that is what they are supposed to do. All wars are terrible, and very often civilian casualties are unavoidable. But after the horrors of the Second World War, countries throughout the world came together to try to establish rules to govern the conduct of war and to limit civilian casualties. The ICC's role is to enforce these limits. Mr. President, yesterday the ICC prosecutor announced that he was requesting arrest warrants for 3 top Hamas leaders, including Yahya Sinwar, the group's leader in Gaza. To my mind, Sinwar and his Hamas accomplices are clearly war criminals. The horrific October 7th terrorist attack on Israel began this war and included the mass murder of 1,200 innocent men, women, and children, the taking of hundreds of hostages, and sexual violence against captives. These war crimes are well documented, and very few people would dispute the merits of those charges. Mr. President, the ICC prosecutor also asked for arrest warrants for Israeli Prime Minister Netanyahu and Defense Minister Gallant. The ICC charges focus on the use of starvation of civilians as a method of war, as well as international attacks against the civilian population. Those are the charges. The use of starvation of civilians as a method of war.
Enough of that. Enough of that. Enough of that. Bernie Sanders is going to talk. How long? Much more longer? Oh, no, we're not going to listen to 30 minutes of Bernie Sanders. Thanks, no, not today. So ultimately, Bernie Sanders said, I'm going to check y'all for y'all behavior. After, not during, not before, after all hell breaks loose, I'm going to check y'all. What kills me is these saints wait until the damage is done and then say, oh, we're going to make a front. And ain't nobody stupid. It's like somebody showing up to a fight after the fact and say, man, I missed it, but I stand with you. Come on now. Stop it. Stop it. Stop it. Where were y'all at the beginning of the year? Come on now. After everything transpires in Rafa, after everything's transpiring, come on now. Stop it, y'all. They think we stupid. I think that's what pisses me off the most. We're not stupid. We're not idiots. We're looking at it and saying, so why did y'all wait till after everything was done to make this wonderful declaration? That was the end point of this live, and the reason I wanted to play these videos, because I'm looking at this and saying, everybody making these humanitarian stands, saying we're standing for them after the people. After. You know why? Because if I'm going to ask and this is what I think. If this was not mainstream the way it was, there would not be these type of declarations. They would sweep it under the rug and say business as usual. We must not forget that occupation that we speak of. They love to say occupation. That's, in other words, colonization. Colonization has been going on for centuries. This ain't brand new. Said Bernie is late for him. He late for the party. Late for the party. Everybody late for the party. But this is just colonization. People said apartheid. I said, yeah, that's apartheid. But ultimately, it's colonization. No different than what they did to the Native Americans. No different than what they did to what we could say the Hispanics taking over Texas and California and that area. But now all of a sudden make a stand for Israel. Oh, not to mention the U.S. wiping out the people in the land in the U.S. of good old A. They brought a people here, put them in the worst captivity that you can speak of. Raping the men, raping the women, killing the children, raping some of the children, hanging them, chopping feet off. I mean, every atrocity, alligator bait. Oh my gosh. Breeding farms, all these things. They did that to those people and brought them over here and then said, I'm going to whip you, I'm going to beat you, and make you work for free. And they love to bring up black people own slaves. Yes, black people own slaves. Do you realize, though, a lot of these black people in the U.S. that own slaves, they didn't necessarily own the slaves. They were buying family members. When I found this out, I said, wait a minute. Not to say that there wasn't black people that did it the wrong way, because we have the situation that happened in Liberia where the U.S. slaves went over to Liberia because during the time that they were freed, they went over there and they said, you can go back to Africa. And it was a segment of slaves that went over into Africa and put the same oppression on the indigenous people in that land as they put on us when we were over here. So I won't deny that that hadn't happened. But when you look at the wholeness of black slaves here owning other black slaves, a lot of them were buying their family members. Ding, 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 ding. Save that narrative for somebody else. But you know it's going to be some person that's going to go dig up some archives and say, wait a minute, here it is, here it is. There was some. So let me say this for the people in the back row. Yes, there were black people that used the tool of slavery in a way that the oppressor used it on their own people. We're not going to do that. But the wholeness of it, come on now. A lot of those people were buying their family members back. So stop it. But with that being said, everybody's just shocked, flabbergasted. I mean, they just like, wow, why would y'all do that to those people over there? That is just so, wait, hold on. Y'all didn't own this land. Y'all came over here. Y'all came over here and said, oh, I forgot what they call it, but the right of God or something. They came over here and said, that's our God-given right to come and take this land because God gave it to us. Bam. Yeah. And massacred the people that lived here. Took their land. Yeah. So USA did no different than Israel. That's why US is like, let me be quiet. Because if I start coming for Israel and what they did, then people will start looking at us and say, wait a minute, y'all did the same thing. Wait. You can't say nothing. So US is like, leave this alone. Let's ride this out. But I don't think this is gonna ride out. I think this is gonna keep going. It's gonna be even worse. It's gonna get even worse. Oh, saints. I'm getting sleepy. Just a smidge. So Teo sent me this. And I want to talk about this, but I may do this tomorrow because I want to get some rest. And I'm gonna give you a little bit of what. So Teo took me to something from Redacted. I told y'all not gonna keep me up all night. Saints are just really trying to keep me up all night. Oh Lord, Redacted is 30 minutes long. Woo! So I'm gonna play a little bit of it, Saints, and then I'm gonna play the rest on another day. I'm not gonna be dealing. The couple gonna send me some at the 9th hour, like Bernie Sanders standing up here making a proclamation at the 9th hour. Yacoba sent me this and said, "Hey, look at this. I hope you're not tired. Look at this." Yacoba is hilarious. So, but I am gonna play a little bit of it because I do want to hear it. So, y'all, let me let y'all know this. I don't know what they're gonna say on this. This is my first time seeing it. I ain't for the discrimination, but I don't think it's gonna be any discrimination. So I don't get that from Redacted. Maybe never mind. If I was showing some of these camps, I would have to put a disclaimer out there. But so Redacted is saying, let me share the screen with you. I don't know why I took my glasses off. So this is where war in America will start right here. Redacted. So I'm getting ready to play Redacted.
In months, not well, a war is coming to the United States in months, not years. Former 24-year veteran of the Customs and Border Protection, J.J. Carroll, just uncovered the truth of what's happening with Biden's border invasion, and the war will start in Black communities. That's where it's going to start first. Listen to JJ in Chicago talking with Black citizens who are being crushed right now under the weight of illegal immigrants in their communities. Watch.
This is America. This is America. There's a problem. And the people have a problem with Trump. Are you crazy? Biden. Biden did this. This is not Trump. Exactly. The Democrat Party in this city hates poor Black people. And I'm talking about all of the Democrat Party, the Black Caucus, and everybody else. This is a fact. They have starved the people. How do you know that? How do you know that? Because I've been in politics for the last 25 years. Ran for city council twice. They have no intentions for American citizens, especially Black America. Poor Black people in this city are obsolete.
And JJ joins me now, fresh off of his trip. JJ, great to see you again. You know, you've obviously confronted some of the most unbelievable circumstances as it relates to the southern border in the United States, some of the most dangerous circumstances that you faced with arrests. How does Chicago, far away from the southern border, how does Chicago stack up with what you're used to at the southern border?
Chicago's a war zone, and it is a forgotten, Trump called it the forgotten America, forgotten Americans. So the reason why I went to Chicago is I believe it's a ground zero of the invasion. This is the manifestation of treason. It's going to work from the coastlines in through the inner cities of major metropolitan areas. That gentleman that you showed, Mark Clayton, is an activist. Mark Carter, is an activist in Chicago. He took me down to the South Side. I had to be escorted down there because of the gang violence and all the issues. But their local government has poured over $3 billion into their community for illegal aliens, not their community, but for illegal aliens. And they are being systematically pushed out of their communities like Inglewood. It is something I have never witnessed before. I feel like I'm traveled, I'm smart, I've been places. I'm telling you, when you go down to the South Side, it is desolate. It is desperate, hopeless, violent. I would say 1 out of 4, 1 out of 5 houses are.
I kid y'all not. It's interesting that he's talking about the migrants. Someone's gonna have me up all night. But interesting enough, he's talking about the migrants. I was on a train a couple of days ago, and we saw this guy in hospital scrubs. He was exhausted. Keep in mind, y'all know I live in New York. Y'all know I live where I live. They say this is migrant city right here. I'm just calling it that. The guy said that he was there giving out vaccines to the migrants. I wish Maddie was up. She's asleep right now. She can tell you what he said. Because she was standing next to me. We were on the train. He said, hear me say standing. That means the train was packed. He said, I'm so tired that I could barely take a bathroom break because it was so many migrants coming in and we're having to give them vaccines as they're coming. He said, large families are coming into the city and what they're doing. I remember y'all today, I kid y'all not, I was on a train and I was, you know how anybody from New York knows that every time it goes, if you ride the express, it skips stops. If you ride the local, it's going to go at every stop. So I actually was on the express train. As I'm getting on the subway, as I'm passing one stop, you see them standing on the subway, waiting for the local train. And I mean, it was a swarm of them. Migrants. And I'm sitting there, I said, y'all remember when I said I have not seen any of the migrants? Y'all remember I said, I ain't seen it. I shouldn't have opened my mouth and said it because I actually saw that today. But then when the guy said it on the train yesterday, or either it was day before yesterday, he said there's so many migrants coming. And he tried to say, well, they're not, criminals. They're not bad people. Their whole family's coming over here. They're so happy and they're so excited being over here. He said, but it's so many of them. He said, and I work, I think he worked for some type of health service or a hospital. He said, we're giving them vaccines as they're coming in. He said, and there's so many of them. He said, I don't even have time to go to the restroom. He said, I have barely eaten today. He said, because it's back to back to back. I said, wow. Wow. So I'll leave that right there.
Dilapidated and shuttered. The other 4 need to be shuttered. Businesses are closed and shuttered. There's no industry. They are bringing illegal aliens majority from Venezuela, and they are moving them out of their communities. Let me give you an example. The city of Chicago paid Black residents that were living in these dilapidated shacks, if you will, $1,000 to move out. Well, why would the landlords in Chicago want them to move out? $1,000. Because each illegal alien has $9,000 attached to them for rent assistance. $9,000. So they're moving them out and moving them in. Now, Clayton, I talked to mega church Black pastors, street pastors, violent gang members that have come out of prison that are trying to reform their community, been in prison for murder for 21 years, another one murder for 26 years, and soup kitchen workers, everyone in between down on the south side of Chicago, Black residents, Black Americans. And they all say to me, to a man and woman, they say, we're going to war. And it took me back for a second and I was like, okay, well, let's clarify what war is. And they said, whatever we have to do to maintain and protect our community. And a Black pastor, the rooftop pastor, the AK rooftop pastor that Tucker Carlson interviewed for many, many months as he sat on top of a building during the winter months because of the prostitution crime that was across the street from his church, Pastor Brooks told me, we are within one Black teenager being raped by these Venezuelan gangs or Black Venezuelan gangs killing a Black gang member or vice versa, and Chicago is going to explode. Everyone knows it, and isn't it coincidental, which I don't believe in coincidences, last week, DNC comes out and says, well, we're really kind of rethinking the Chicago DNC convention. We might do it remote. They know it as well as I do, that this is a powder keg ready to explode.
Yeah, can you hold the Democratic National Convention in Chicago? I mean,
I gotta say something on this, y'all. If Trump gets into office, y'all, keep in mind, we are technically in the middle of a presidential election. Can y'all hear me? I need y'all to hear me. We are technically in a presidential election. We have not seen any ads. We have not seen any promos. We haven't seen anything pushing campaign commercials. I haven't seen any. Democrats are not in a good place. If Trump gets into office, you can tell I'm sleeping. Every single migrant, if you're a migrant or you look like a migrant, is gonna catch them problems. My fellow Negroes, make sure you have papers on you at all times if Trump gets into office, because they gonna be like, where's your birth certificate? Where's your social security card? Where is your ID? But they'll be so janky to say, we don't just want your ID, we need you. Because Trump will do it where you are a citizen, but if you ain't a birth citizen, you out. That's how low down Trump is. That's how interesting Trump is. So you better have your birth certificate, saints, to show that you was born here. We damn near, excuse my language, gonna need our parents' birth certificates. That's how bad it's probably gonna get when he gets into office. Cause saints, when he get into office, it's gonna be a show like we have never seen it before. That's why they go to court trying to put this dude in jail for giving money to a prostitute and telling her to shut her mouth. Literally, Trump is in trouble for that. Why Kennedy was messing with Marilyn Monroe, per se. They say he was. If y'all, when I tell y'all, I'm sitting here, I'm watching it, I'm like, it's about to go down. That's how I feel right now. It's finna be ugly. Because Trump is finna say, I'm finna take one big broom and just sweep everybody out that don't look like me. So this is why the Republicans are pushing it. And have y'all heard about Project 2025? Oh, the Democrats is just fear-mongering out of this world. Just don't vote for Republicans. They're going to push Project 2025. Well, if we vote for y'all, foreign nations is going to run our land. Whoops. We're giving over our Constitution to a foreign nation. So we damned if we do and we damned if we don't. Well, I ain't going to say I am. I nullify that. Forgive me, Lord. I'm far from damned. I'm blessed. Let me pull that out of my mouth. Forgive me, Father. He corrected me quickly. They are damned if they do and damned if they don't. Not me. I'm blessed. Highly favored, filled with the Holy Spirit, and a part of the chosen tribe of Israel by way of Judah. So I take that back. They are damned if they do, or damned if they don't. Yeah, this is going to get interesting. So let's see what else they're going to say.
What do you have to show for it? I mean, as we talked about with Mark, with the activist, he says, you're seeing Democrats have destroyed this city. So you're going to bring the Democratic National Convention there? I mean, you're right. This is an absolute powder keg moment. And I think, we throw this term war around a lot. And I've thought a lot about this since you and I have been talking over the past few days, this idea, I've thought it was going to be a civil war. We've been thinking of the term civil war in the United States, Americans against Americans right now. But I think it's not. I think what you saw in Chicago, what you're seeing with your documentary Treason, what you're uncovering, is it is an invasion, and it's a repelling of an invasion. That will be the war. Americans coming together, and they hate that. I mean, absolutely, the powers that be would hate that Republicans and Democrats, MAGA Americans, and liberal Democrats would come together and say, enough is enough. We want to take our country back. And maybe I'm wrong, but is that where you see this war unfolding, or how this war would unfold? It won't be a civil war. It'll be a repelling of this invasion as a war.
I absolutely believe that. And my mindset is changing as I'm going to these communities, and I'm going to Boston and New York next. But I knew Chicago was the epicenter. And you're right. What scares the power structures more than anything, Clayton, is a big white man standing next to a big black man, both alpha males, one in law enforcement.
Brew Queen, are you woke? Are you in the chat? Sheila, are you in the chat? Angie, are you in the chat? Ruhama is in the chat. She probably asleep. Y'all, didn't we say that they need black people to be in the fight with them? We just said that. We just said that. If my people call by my name, they need us in the fight with them. They need us. It's a lot of power. Most High God hears our voices and our cries. So they said, let's pull black people in it. We're not in it. Now, all of a sudden, when did we become important? Oh, a big white man and a big black man coming together. Man, we ain't talked about nothing until somebody write their check out. Black people done. We checked out. We over it. Like, this is not my fight. This is not my fight. Y'all, yep, we're not in it. No. Now all of a sudden, we locking hands and singing Kumbaya. Write the check, and we might talk. Might have a good conversation, but we ain't talking about that mama. So I'm done. Yeah, he did. He did. Bless his sweetheart.
One in the prison system, and realizing we have enormous amounts in common. We agree on the majority of everything, and the things that we. And you're right. What scares the power structures more than anything, Clayton, is a big white man standing next to a big black man, both alpha males, one in law enforcement, one in the prison system, and realizing we have enormous amounts.
Wait, did he say a white man, a big white man, and a big black man standing next to each other? One is in law enforcement, and one is in the prison system. If my hair wasn't standing on my head because I wore a hair wrap today and oiled my hair, I would show y'all the expression on my face, but I look crazy right now. Did he say that, Saints? That's what I'm saying. But I'm taking it as if he's saying big white man work in the prison system, law enforcement, one big black man in the prison system. Come on now, y'all. I don't know why Jacob sent me this video. I'm gonna be up all night long because I'm gonna be stopping every few seconds because I got to feel everything they're gonna say. I'm just gonna pause. So I'm finna finish playing.
In common. We agree on the majority of everything. And the things that we don't agree on, we can civilly talk and come to a good conclusion because we're Americans. But when you take us and we're looking at the same problem and we're saying the source of that problem is the government. The government is destroying you. Why would I not help my brother? I don't care what race he is or what religion. He's my American brother and sister. Why would I not help him? That's going to be the call to America because, as I say in my interviews.
Pause again. I'm going to be up to 3 o'clock going through this video. Now, all of a sudden, we're Americans and we need to lock arms. We need to come together because we're one nation under God. We need to come together. No. And I hope nobody's falling for the foolishness and the shenanigans. We're not doing that. Come on now. History has shown us, let's go through history, that every single time we've locked arms with this nation and said, we're going to fight for this country. After the fight is over, then I'm a Negro again. Then I'm a problem. Then I'm a menace to society. After we... Do they think we that stupid? Actually, there's some people that are stupid like that would fall for this foolishness. But we're not that stupid. Shonda said yesterday, and then she is right. Nice is calling someone stupid. That is correct. Or you think we're that nice? Nice means stupid. Yes. Are we that nice? Are you that nice? Are we that nice as a people? That we're falling for the same foolishness and the shenanigans again. Now we're brothers and sisters, and we're going to lock arms as Americans, and we're going to fight against the system because, man, if y'all don't get the heck out of my face and give me my check and quit talking to me. I'm tired. I'm tired of fighting y'all's fight. So let me stop pausing. I'm going to be 5 o'clock in the morning looking at this video. What time? And 255 people in here. And I got a feeling if I keep going on and on, the numbers gonna grow. And I'm welcoming all 255 of y'all that are in here. Praise y'all. Y'all came to support me. I thank y'all, but I am getting sleepy, saints. But let's continue on because I can't stop now. 22 minutes and I've only got 7 minutes. I'm finna stop pausing.
If you think it's going to be contained in this bubble in Chicago, you're a fool. It's already spread across America. There's 45 million illegal aliens in America right now. 45 million. And I spoke to a female precinct leader in the GOP. There's only 2 GOP offices, I think, in all of Illinois. One of them is in Southside. And she tells me, she goes, do you think this is coincidental, JJ? You think this is just happenstance that the black population is decreasing in Chicago? They're about 700,000-ish. Do you think it has no meaning that the mayor, Johnson, 2 weeks ago said out loud, we're bringing in 700,000 illegal aliens? It's a 1-for-1. They're replacing us. And I didn't even use the word replacement. They all did. I'm talking from the highest level intellect down to street level knowledge and everyone in between. We are being replaced. We are being replaced. And I'm like, wow, they're on the front lines. And as these men told me, these gang members told me, if they think they're going to take it from me, they got another thing coming. We're armed to the teeth. We got 100-round drums. We got clips, magazines that have 30 rounds in them. We're not going without a fight. That's petrifying. I don't want that in America, but I'm telling you, Clayton, I was down. I saw how these illegal aliens live. They're staying in accommodations in the highest rent areas of Chicago, downtown. They are staying in buildings that are shadowed by the Department of Justice building. They're doing pimping, prostitution, drugs, fighting. And our brothers and sisters, I literally walked from a tent compound where American citizens, veterans are living in squalor. The stench of feces and urine was overwhelming. I leave that to go to illegals living in luxury. They've taken over a whole city block. Clayton, here's the final thing one thing I want to impress upon. When you and I talked about me walking on the border in San Diego, in the area that I bled on to to control that, and that feeling I had that I was in enemy territory, that they owned it. I was in Chicago when the vast majority, there were hundreds of military age adult men from Venezuela, majority from Venezuela. They looked at me like, what are you doing? This is our neighborhood. Get out. This is what's happening to America. You are being replaced. What do you do when you go into war? You take land. It's called occupying property. They're occupying America and they're pushing us out. 45 million going on 50 million strong. And the other thing I want to say that as I travel and I see it, I went from leaving the United States Border Patrol 3 years ago when the NGOs didn't really know what they were doing. The NGOs on the South Side bringing the caravans up didn't know. The government just created this chaos because they wanted to destroy America. And it was all chaotic and clunky. No longer, Clayton. I'm watching an industrial strength, the industrial size operation that is streamlined and efficient from the Darien Gap to Chicago. I have never seen anything like this big and this perfectly orchestrated. It is unbelievable.
It must have felt like a whole different world. I mean, I've been to Chicago many times. I can't imagine. You know, you feel like you're a foreigner in your own country, walking down those streets of Chicago.
Well, you know what was amazing too is and you watch this video that Mark Carter, when he and I are talking, he takes me across the street to those tent cities, the tent compound. Hundreds of people live in there, drug addicts, everything. It's just a horrible, miserable way for any human to live. And I'm interviewing several of them, and they tell me the stories of during the winter, how they're getting frostbite on their toes and their fingers. Clayton, 200 yards away is the illegal immigrant intake center. They have 5 tents that look like the beautiful white wedding tents with beautiful signage where they feed, clothe, and medicate them. And then if it's too cold, Clayton, they put them on 5 city buses that stay running 24 hours a day so they can warm up. U.S. citizens were knocking on the doors of the bus saying, please let me in, as illegal aliens were sitting there getting warm, eating freshly cooked food with brand new clothes. And our Americans are knocking on the bus. And you know what the bus driver said? Only illegal aliens allowed. This is not hyperbole. I'm not making this up. This is what's happening to our nation. And it's unfair. You and I can have a discussion, Clayton, about how much money we give, how do we fix the homeless problem? But the one discussion we can't have any disagreement on, do you take care of American citizens first? Or do you make them stay and sleep in the freezing cold while I take care of foreign nationals that broke our nation's laws and I give them everything they need? When I was coming out of those homeless shelters, the illegal alien migrant hotels, you know what I saw? I saw men wearing very nice clothes, extremely clean, watches, jewelry. Another thing I saw, Clayton, they were jumping in and out of vehicles that they bought that had no license plates, no anything. And I'm told by Chicago PD officers, we're not allowed to stop them. We know who they are. They get to drive licenseless, plateless, anything. Just, it's anarchy. It's anarchy. And I will tell you this, I talked to several lieutenants within the Chicago PD, and they told me the plan was to have no plan, meaning just chaos. These are soldiers, frontline law enforcement guys telling me this is a disaster. And they tell me also the DNC comes in August. They said, prepare. It's going to be beyond insane. Crime, rampant, BLM, anarchists, illegal aliens, gang members says, we're not prepared. That's a quote, we are not prepared. That's why you're seeing the DNC thinking about canceling their convention.
And you said they're not prepared. The Chicago PD says we're not prepared?
This is a quote. Chicago PD lieutenant told me, we are not prepared, and our federal partners are extremely concerned because we do not have a handle on anything.
I hope people are paying attention to what JJ just said. That is unbelievable, what you just told me. I'm frankly speechless. I mean, and I'm like on the verge of tears, to be honest with you. Like I can't freaking believe that this is happening in the United States of America right now. I mean, we need, I don't know what we do, but you've seen, of course, videos talking about 80,000 Americans ready to go, ready to launch a revolution, legal revolution in this country to expel these people. You have all of these black activists and black citizens here who are being trampled under the foot of illegal immigration by the Democrats. And they're saying, we're about to go to war. And what is the Biden administration doing right now? Literally the same day I'm talking to you, Rachel Levine, who's the Surgeon General or whatever the hell he is issuing a statement saying the number one threat to Black Americans right now is climate change. So this is, I'm not making that up.
It's funny. You got to laugh or you're going to cry.
I know, like, this is how out of touch these people are. I mean, I hope next time once the treason documentary is done, I hope you go to these Black communities in Chicago and do another documentary on how climate change is the number one thing that's affecting them right now. Because all that frostbite that they're getting is a direct result of climate change. I mean, it's absolutely infuriating. And of course, we've covered, of course, all the NGOs and the number of the funneling of this money here, this migrant center. But I just got to ask you, I mean, what does it seem like it's organized? You hear from these different activists who are talking about there's a war coming. Are they all on the same page with this? Are they talking about what's coming? Are they actively preparing for something? I mean, you talk about this sort of tinderbox moment. I guess I'm more worried about sort of the explosive moment, the start of World War I moment in the United States. What will be the shot heard round the world moment? Will we have a George Floyd style moment that will be used to rally? And or do they seem like they're all on the same page with this?
They're all on the same page. And I can't reiterate this enough. I'm talking to men that have been out of prison for a year or two, spent 2.5 decades in prison, major gang members. The creator, I sat down with the founder of the Black Disciples. They're all telling me, from there to the beautiful woman that works in the soup kitchen that's overworked out of her mind, to street pastors, to a mega pastor, to politicians and precinct leaders and everyone in between, not knowing that I'm speaking to everyone else, right? Like I'm walling everyone off. They're adamantly, we're going to war. That's what they're saying. This is not my words. I'm not coming up with a phrase. They're saying, we are going to war. And I ask them, well, what does that look like? Whatever it takes, man. Whatever it takes. And they think we're going to roll over. And they made a very great point to me. They said, we have been abused for decades. We have lived in squalor for decades. We have been oppressed for decades. Do you think 10, 20, 100, 200,000 illegal aliens from Venezuela are going to beat us? Do you know where we have been conditioned? When we're talking about going to war, we've been at war. And I'm going to tell you, that's a war zone already.
Yeah, I blame you, Nicola. He sent me this video, but he sent me the best video possible. Thank you, Yacoba. Even though I'm sleepy, I'm going to continue on. They need someone to fight. They don't want to fight, so they go in these prisons, these gangs. Y'all notice that? And we are going to war. They want blacks and migrants to fight with each other in the middle of the streets. Y'all, I'm gonna keep going. Oh, shoot.
They're getting frostbite on their toes and their fingers. U.S. citizens were knocking on the doors of the bus saying signage where they feed, clothe, and medicate.
Hold on, I kicked
several
it.
of them. And they tell me the stories of during the winter, how they're getting frostbite on their toes and their fingers. Clayton, 200 yards away is the illegal immigrant intake center. They everything, it's just a horrible, miserable way for any human to live. And I'm interviewing several of them, and they tell me the stories beyond insane that had no license plates. Men, take care of Americans are knocking on the bus. And you know what the bus driver said? Only illegal aliens allowed.
Damn,
This,
damn
I'm not,
it,
this
I
is not
asked him to get
hyperbole. I'm
this
not making
off
this
the-
up.
Hold on,
This is
y'all.
what's happening to our nation. And then if it's too cold, Clayton, and I'm interviewing several of them, and they tell me the stories of during the winter. And you watch this video that Mark Carter went and efficient from the Darien Gap to Chicago. I have never seen anything like this big and this perfectly orchestrated. It is unbelievable.
It must have felt like a whole different world. I mean, I've been to Chicago many times. I can't imagine. You know,
It's called occupying property. They're occupying what's happening to America. You are being replaced. What do you do when you go into war? You take land. It's called to control that. And that feeling I had that I was in enemy territory, that they owned it. I was in Chicago when the vast majority, there were hundreds of military age adult men from Venezuela, majority from Venezuela. They looked at me like, what are you doing? This is our neighborhood. Get out. This is what's happening to America. You are being replaced. What do you do when you go into war? You take land. It's called occupying property. They're occupying America and they're pushing us out. 45 million going on 50 million strong. And the other thing I want to say that as I travel and I see it, I went from leaving the United States Border Patrol 3 years ago when the NGOs didn't really know what they were doing. The NGOs on the South Side bringing the caravans up didn't know. The government just created this chaos because they wanted to destroy America. And it was all chaotic and clunky. No longer, Clayton. I'm watching an industrial strength, the industrial size operation.
We're about to go to war. Legal revolution in this. I'm frankly speechless.
And insane. Crime rampant. BLM, anarchists, illegal aliens, gang members says we're
Now,
not
where
prepared.
was I? Was I
Let's
6
quote, "We
minutes?
are
I
not
have just
prepared."
6 minutes left.
That's why
Did
you're seeing
y'all,
the DNC thinking about canceling their convention.
Wait a minute, hold on.
And you said
Gummit.
they're not prepared. The Chicago PD says we're not prepared.
Chicago, this is a quote.
I'm
Chicago
prepared.
PD lieutenant told me, we are not prepared and our federal partners are extremely concerned because we do not have a handle on anything.
I'm pissed off now. Y'all, do y'all remember? Hold on. I'm sleepy, y'all. I done got sleepy. I done kicked it off. And how far along was I? Dadgummit, hold on. I gotta pull up my old video. My video. Hold on, y'all. I gotta figure out where I was. Y'all remember where I was? Dadgummit. I was trying to. How far?
Eat, clothe, and medicate.
Hold on. They want blacks and migrants to fight with each other in the middle. Okay, I found it.
We've been at war. Whatever it takes, and they think we're going to roll over. And they made a very great point to me about going to war. We've been at war. And I'm going to tell you, that's a war zone already. It's dilapidated. The only thing that's missing is maybe some tanks, military tanks running through that city because it's dilapidated. There's no grocery stores. You have to go get food at the gas station. There's no industry. There's nothing. I don't even know how to really quantify how desperate a woman that works in the soup kitchen that's overworked out of her mind, to street pastors, to a mega pastor,
I found my
to
spot.
politicians and precinct leaders and everyone in between, not knowing that I'm speaking to everyone else, right? Like I'm walling everyone off. They're adamantly, we're going to war. That's what they're saying. This is not my words. I'm not coming up with a phrase. They're saying, we are going to war. And I ask them, well, what does that look like? Whatever it takes, man. Whatever it takes. And they think we're going to roll over. And they made a very great point to me. They said, we have been abused for decades. We have lived in squalor for decades. We have been oppressed for decades. Do you think 10, 20, 100, 200,000 illegal aliens from Venezuela are going to beat us? Do you know where we have been conditioned? When we're talking about going to war, we've been at war. And I'm going to tell you, that's a war zone already. It's dilapidated. The only thing that's missing is maybe some tanks, military tanks running through that city, because it's dilapidated. There's no grocery stores. You have to go get food at the gas station. There's no industry. There's nothing. I don't even know how to really quantify how desperate and how desolate and hopeless that place is. But they are full of hope because their hope is in them. And I will say this because I know, because I've been on the other side where I'm like, you voted for this, inner city Chicago. All of your aldermen, city council, mayor, chief of police, everyone, even they say are all black. But to their credit, they said the only way that we're going to clean up our communities is we clean it up. The men clean it up. We come back from prison and we help. He says, but there is no resources. We have no money. And when you look at it, and they're absolutely right, $3 billion from Chicago has been poured into the illegal aliens. Nothing for inner city blacks. Let me go one step further. I'm talking to the GOP leader, and he tells me, do you know last week that we beat back a bond measure for $150 million for illegal aliens? We beat it back. He goes, but you know what Mayor Johnson did? They did a circle around and they took out a loan, not for $150 million, but for $1.25 billion. And all of it is earmarked for illegal aliens. So you think, and the last thing, one thing I want to tell you, Clayton, the last adjective that they all use to describe how they feel, the black residents in inner city Chicago, they say, we feel humiliated. When you combine resentment, anger, and then you throw humiliation on with a dose of no hope and devastation, that's a recipe for disaster, dude. And I lived it. I was there 3 days straight just filming and talking. And I came away flying back to my suburban, very police-oriented neighborhood that I don't worry about anything except take care of my wife and my son.
It's not the migrants.
What did I just say?
The migrants didn't oppress us. The migrants didn't put us through Black Wall Street. It was not the migrants that hung our ancestors from. It wasn't the migrants that hung our ancestors from the trees. It wasn't the migrants that did redlining. Why are we going to fight with them? Ooh. Y'all.
See, what world am I flying from? That was not America. My partner in this, Ryan Matta, and I were talking, dude, where did we just come from? That's how bizarre this whole thing is. And the federal government is doing this to America on purpose.
War, revolution, use whatever word you want, but it's coming to the United States of America right now. And someone who's on the front lines right now, being able to educate all of us about what's happening. I hope you share this with people. I hope you publish this on Facebook if they'll let you. Probably get blocked. Share this everywhere. Let people know what's coming. This is the United States of America right now. JJ Carroll has been our guest. His new documentary is called Treason. Hopefully it'll be published in the fall, but he's, of course, putting all of this together right now, traveling the country, and he's kind enough to share some of these dispatches with us as this story unfolds. But this one really got me, JJ. I mean, this really hit me in a way that I didn't think it was going to, but it really has. Thank you for joining us, JJ. I really appreciate it.
Thank you for the time, as always, Clayton.
I really hope you enjoyed watching this video. You know, YouTube thinks that you'll actually like this.
Saints, I'm gonna go to bed. It's right here. Did y'all enjoy tonight's segment? Thank you, Jacoba, for sending me that video to play it, because Yeah, that was interesting. We got a lot to unpack with that video. I know you're probably gonna do a live tomorrow and talk about it. I want to talk about it as well again because the problem is they want to bring us into the fight. For why? Porque I'm not. I'm not getting in that fight. For what? First and foremost, who gonna write that check though? Yeah, they want us to get in it, but what I am gonna do is get in my pajamas and go to bed. That's what I'm getting ready to do because I'm tired. So I hope y'all enjoyed the segment. Please tell me yes or no. If you have not subscribed to my channel, please do. If you run across a news report, I'll say this much, y'all. If y'all run across something that y'all want me to speak on, send it to me, to my email. My email is down. I think my email is right here. Is my email? No, my email isn't right here. Let me go to where my email is. Where's my email? I don't have a banner for my email. If you go to my community tab, and let me take you there really quick, and then I'm going to bed. Let me see, and I'll show you how to get to my email address. And say news, and I'll know what you're talking about. And put the date on it. Put today's, I'm going to see the date anyway. So if you want to get to me, let me make sure my email address is out here. Yep, it's out here. So if you want to email me or send me anything, just go here. Go to my YouTube page. Hold on. Go to my YouTube page. And then I'm going to bed, Saints. Go to my YouTube page. You see me? This little pretty picture of me? Go right here. Click more. And when you click more, you will see my email address right here. So here's my email address. sister.letstalk@gmail.com. So if you happen to run across a report or something, hold on, I thought I shared it. Here we go. Here's my email address right here, y'all. If you go to my YouTube page, it doesn't matter what tab, it can be anyone, but go right up here by my name. Hit the more. When you hit more, my email is right here. Right there. And you should be able to see it. All right, family. And email me of anything you would want me to speak about. Now, because you send it to me doesn't necessarily mean that I will talk about it, but just send it to me and we will go through it. Thank you so much for y'all support. Thank you, Lolita. I hope Lolita let oh, I need to learn how to pronounce these names. Letitia, I think that's how you say it. I'm tired and I'm sleepy. Letitia, I'm messing your name up. I'm so sorry. But thank you so much for your super chat. I'm tired, y'all. Saints, forgive me. But thank you so much for your super chat. I promise y'all, I am not going to be gone long. I might be back tomorrow with the way things are looking. Keep on subscribing, keep on liking. We're going to keep talking about what's going on in mainstream. And Letitia, that doesn't look like a she though. It's a Stita. Don't do me like that, J High Style. I'm so over you. I didn't see the it's spelled. I'm sorry, Letitia. I didn't get Letitia from your name. Let me see. There's not an S in there. It's Letitia. I don't see the S in it. Okay. Y'all, don't. I'm sorry. I'm tired, y'all. Don't do me like that, Jay. Y'all can go to bed because I'm starting to get sleepy, angry now because Jay Hostile got on my nerves. trying to show me how to pronounce some. Him and Angie. I think some of it is just I'm grumpy and I'm sleepy. So it's silent. Yo, am I that slow? I promise y'all make me feel like I am real slow. How do y'all know it's silent? I'm not. Tell us the phonics of your name, please, so I can say it right. Is it an S in it? Is it Letitia? I didn't get Letitia. I got Latita. I didn't see. Am I that dumb? I need you to tell me how to pronounce your name right now. I'm not going nowhere. Is it shh? Y'all can't tell me I'm that dumb. I'm not the smartest cookie. I need for her to give me the phonics of her name. I didn't see the S, Saints. She got to give me the phonics of her name, and then look, don't do me like that. I need to know the phonics of your name before I close up, because now y'all making me. I got Tia. I'm not stupid. And then she's still not giving me phonics of her name. Ugh. I got Letitia now, y'all. Y'all get on my nerves. I'm so tired of y'all. Y'all be trying to correct me. I'm getting sleepy. And y'all be trying to correct me, but that's all right. I still love y'all. I'm going to bed. Good night. Y'all be doing me any kind of way. All right, Saints. Love y'all and good night.